A show that tackles the big issues affecting the BVI and the rest of the Caribbean. Searches for answers to today's big questions and gives viewers a unique perspective on developing stories. Follow the big story with me, Kathy Richards, only on GTV. This show is brought to you by the National Bank of the Virgin Islands, Cyril B. Ramney Turtola Pier Park, NV Salon, Nail Spa and Barbershop, Tisley Cross Deliciously Smooth Cider, and Digicel, simply more speed, reliability and entertainment.
Tisley Cross Cider. Tisley Cross Cider. Deliciously smooth.
This is The Big Story. I'm Kathy Richards. I want to thank you so much for joining us for this edition. In this edition, we want to celebrate. We want to celebrate one of our top athletes in the Virgin Islands. I'll tell you this. I can recall several years ago, and my boss will get me for this one. He said, you see that young girl, Adaejah, find her mom. Her name is Tanya, and do a feature on her. Several years ago. That is destined for greatness. I kid you not. We didn't get about to doing that interview then, but here we are today. She did make that mark as foreseen by my boss, Kelvin Titley. And so we're here in this moment. I want to welcome you, Tanya, Adaejah. Congratulations. I know you've been hearing this all along, but you know, in this moment on the Big Story set, we want to say congratulations to both of you.
Thank you
for being a humble young woman and doing your thing, and you for being that tower of a mother. Wow. So we want to go from a little bit, we're going to come to Jamaica a little bit, but to get to understand Adaejah and Tanya in the world of athletics. I kick it off with you, Mommy.
So basically, I used to run track. My dad used to run track, so it's nothing she has that is not embedded in her. Adaejah started actually running track at the age of 5 years old. We wouldn't say running track. We just had an eye that
She gonna be fast.
She looks like she has a little something. Her first ever coach was Miss Erica Fredericks. She's like, I think Adaejah could run. I was like, girl, just relax. She's like, no, I think she has something. So in Simmons Preschool, they had, the regular little meets. And I said, run to me, just, run to me.
Run to Mommy.
So she's just like, okay. So the whistle went, she ran, and she was like all the way in front, and the kids was all the way in the back, and I was like, okay, and she stayed in the lane. I was like, and Erica's like, I told she got something. So when she was promoted to Eden Scotland, Miss Frederick was the PE teacher, and she just started going out on the track, just grassroots, just freestyle with Miss Fredericks, and that's how it all unfold. The magic all unfolded.
Oh, wow. Erica, kudos to you. Like many others, you saw it in her, and I'm so happy. And Erica is with her until today. She is still by her side.
And it's funny you said that, because when we first relocated to Georgia, she had to call Miss Fredericks. Every Saturday she had to meet. She's like, I'm nervous. She's like, just because Erica always said, Adaejah's a competition child. She loved competition. So it's just that voice calmed her down, and from then. But yeah, has always been instrumental, even to today in her, I would say, career.
Okay. Adaejah, you remember you at 5 years old running to Mommy for the first time?
Actually, no. I still, maybe a little bit. If I see pictures, I'm like, yeah, I kind of like have a hint of that day, but not to say that I remember the whole thing. But on stories, it's like memorable. Like that's something I would do.
But what keep you inspired, motivated in sports, in athletics?
Challenges. I'm a person, I'm fearless. I go attack any challenges. So if I see a new challenge, I'm going to go face that challenge. Probably going to strive to beat the challenge or set a new standard for that challenge.
I'm looking at this tiny, brilliant, smiling young girl. You won't think that you love fierce challenges.
Yeah.
What are some of those challenges that you would have found yourself in and was able to overcome them?
Honestly, it was adjusting to my new training style when I relocated. Before, like, say here we would do 150s, but in the United States we didn't have 150s. I had to do a whole 200, or like an 80 meter, I had to do a whole 100. So building my endurance was very difficult. So for the first 2 years, I just built my endurance. Then my coach, he actually gave me a challenge. He said, I want you to run the 4. So I was like, okay, coach, like train me for it. So we trained that whole summer, and I actually became one of the best 400 runners in the United States.
Oh, wow, that's awesome. Tell us a little bit about the migration, because we need to understand the roots. And then moving off to where you're at now.
So I actually relocated back home after graduating from the United States. I started teaching, and then I went to do my degree in sports science in the UK, and relocated, well, came back home and taught for 16 years. It just became, to me, repetitive and stagnant, and I know I wanted more. Growing up with my aunt and her husband who was in the military, I've seen the outside world, and I just did not want my kids to be stuck within a box. Like, there's more beyond the 24 square miles of the island. So that was one of my major challenges of relocating. But I had doubts, because every year I would say I would relocate, and then in 2015 I just said, hey, we're leaving. So I bought all our one-way tickets to Atlanta, and so it's like you walk by sight. So I'm like,
in faith,
yeah. So I walked by faith, not by sight. And I was like, in the first 2 years, it was very challenging. When Adaejah started competing, I was like, how are we going to pull this off? I had my first job at Home Depot, working as a part-time cashier. I started to go to Georgia State to start my master's degree in nutrition. I didn't complete it because not just her, but my other children. My oldest is also doing her bachelor's in sociology, and I have an 11-year-old who is the culinary chef of the house. So I'm pretty busy.
Tell me a little bit about your life in the British Virgin Islands, and did you really want to go?
I cried when I left. I definitely did, because I was going to be away from my best friend, my dad, my family. So I grew up being loved by my whole family. So knowing that I was going to relocate and being loved by a smaller family, well, it's the same, but it's not the same. But yeah, I definitely cried. I didn't want to go, but when I adjusted to the States, when I adjusted to Georgia and the climate and all that, I didn't want to come back. Yeah, I just didn't want to come back, because there was more to do. There was a brand new adventure every weekend. We will go see the city. We will go have fun outside. And then I started track, so it was a lot of traveling. You travel a lot in track in the States. Yeah. Some of the meets are 2 hours, 3 hours. There was one meet, 12 hours. We drove to Texas from Georgia. So it was just something new every time that I had to run.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay. But despite the movement, you never put the flag of the British Virgin Islands down. You kept it high. Why was this so important to maintain that route while Adaejah excel in sports?
When we first started, well, it started in 2017, actually, after the death of Coach Mr Samwell. He was very instrumental with Adaejah's training, along with Miss Fredericks. So it was very passionate to us to honor him after his death. I don't like to say after his death, because I feel we have to give people their roses while they're still alive. But it took me 3 weeks to tell Adaejah of his passing, and she was crushed. So in 2018, she dedicated that track season to Mr Samwell's, and in that year she broke a 26-year record at Junior Olympics. So she just started bearing the flag in honor of Mr Samwell's.
Tell us about that. Why you felt so deep, and give us a little bit of the memories of yourself and Dad.
So Mr. Samwell, he would always, even when I was tiny, he would always tell me good job, keep up the good work. I was actually supposed to go train with him before I left. The year I left, that was my transition year to go train with him. So we always had this connection with track and field. He always saw my dedication, my hard work. So I really appreciated him. Summer of 2017, before his passing, I trained with him that whole summer. So he gave me a root, a refreshing of my roots, of my, the base that I left with. So I really appreciated it for him. So that's why I dedicated my 2018 season to him.
Awesome. Now, adapting to new coaches in a new environment, how did that go? And who are your special coaches?
It went great. Honestly, all my coaches, Coach Hill, Coach Vaughn, Coach Jones, I'm still with Coach Jones to this day. They all had my back. They all saw that I'm new, so I'm not used to the climate or anything. So they will always have my back. Bundle up today is really cold. So I really appreciated them for that. They always thought I couldn't run, except Coach Jones. Coach Jones was the only person who was I think she can run. But they stuck it out. They held with me. They trained me, and then they saw at my first meet that I can actually run. They was we have something, and they really appreciated my hard work. Like I said, yeah.
Okay, so coming round to Carifta 2022, tell us that transition now coming aboard on the BVI team.
She was actually supposed to start competing 2 years prior to 2022, but because of COVID, everything was on the back burner. Her times, everything matched. Actually, her times was above the qualifying mark, so we was hey, we got something. So she stuck it out for the 2 years. In 2022, I was it's a go. So she was yeah, we're going to Carifta. We're going to take everything in Jamaica. So that's the mindset that we went into Carifta with, knowing, yeah, we can make some mischief down there.
Adaejah, you were going into Carifta, not just into Carifta, but into the home of the greats on track and field, the Usain Bolt, the Shelley and Price, and all these greats and athletes. And Jamaica just put down their foot when they come to track and field. So tell us about you there on ground among all of these great high school and green.
Actually, they boosted my energy, knowing that they was not expecting me to come out and perform the way I did. Boosted my confidence, boosted that I need to show them who I really am, what I've been training for. So their crowd, the energy that they had in the crowd, it really got me hey, they was okay, it's time to show them what I have. And also it put my name on an international scale, because in the United States I'm known nationally, but coming to Carifta put me on an international scale, so I'm really happy for that.
Okay, now so we're going to get down to the nitty-gritty of your performance there. We saw magic happen. So let's talk about it, and both of you are going to interact with me in this. Outline for me the meets that you had to be in and how you went through them from the heats.
Oh, so Carifta heats?
Yes.
Okay, so the 100, I just worked on my start, because I've been training at practice, and I've been working on my start, making sure it's perfect, doing my techniques, make sure it's right. So my first round, I was okay, we can do techniques. So I ran, and then I saw the time, and the picture, when I was that, it was just because I was oh my God, I just ran that time, not really running fast. So I was I think I can break this record tonight. And I was really excited, so I was okay, next round, we're going to kick it up a notch. So I kicked it up a notch a little bit, but still preserved my energy for the next round, the last round. Last round, I just left it all on the track. And I was going to lean, because you have to lean at the end. I was no, we're just going to run straight through the line. I ran straight through the line. I was 150 meters, and then I saw the time, and I was really impressed with myself. Because prior, I ran 11:50, which was a PR. I was still proud of myself, but I was that's my season opener. I still have more to do. So I was really happy when I saw 11:29.
Oh God! So it's like something living inside of you saying that okay, this body's gonna go and go and go and yeah. But the record-breaking moment, we call it the record-breaking moment, when you had the final jump, and then you had a
200.
track, 200 to go. Let us talk about that moment. We heard so many stories surrounding that. Let's hear it from you. What happened? You had the third jump to do, yes, and then the 200 is there waiting. What were the thoughts going around your head that made that final decision that, listen, we're going to do it? Because we've never seen this happen before.
So basically when the night before, we looked at the timing and we pointed out the 200 semis, was it the semis?
Yes,
the
semis.
200 semis is gonna interact with the long jump. So the mission was to go and hit the farthest jump on the first jump. Unfortunately, it did not happen. She scratched. Said, okay, maybe let's go for the second jump. The second jump was 575, and I said, okay. I know she has a lot more in her because previously in Myrtle Beach, she jumped at 20 feet, which is like a 6'4". So I said, yeah, she got a little more in her. But the mission was if no one passed her, she would have just sit out. It did not happen that way. So she made it to the finals in the #1 spot. And I was like, watching the time, I was like, how are they going to call for that 200? So she jumped in the finals, the first jump, scratched. I was like, okay, she's still holding the #1 spot. The first Jamaican came down, she jumped 582. She was not aware of where she was standing. So I went around and said, no, she said, where am I? I said, second. She's like, okay. The second Jamaican came down, 584. She looked at me, she was like, I said, she was like, so I was like, okay. So they asked her to remove her jumping spikes and because she had to run. So she removed her spikes. They told her, put back on your jumping spikes. And I was like, I'm in the bleachers. I'm like, okay, let's see how this is going to play out. So they asked her, put back on your track spikes, you're going to do the 200. So her and the long jump official ran over to the 200. And I looked and she's coming, because I saw her setting her blocks. I was like, okay. And then I saw her running, coming back over. And I was like, I just busted open the gate. I was like, so what's going on?
Mommy step it together.
Yeah, this is not coaching. It's like, Mom, like, so what's going on? Is she going to jump? Is she going to run? The lady's like, she's going to jump. So while the lady and I are talking, I just felt this wind coming down the runway. And I was like, and then she jumped and it was a 620. I was like, oh my God. So I was like, how do you do this? So
I want to hear it from you. Mom is there trying to negotiate, get her understanding of what's happening. Did you have any doubts in your mind whether or not, look, I'm going to do the jump or I'm going to just settle for third place in the jump and just go do the 200? I know I'm going to shatter records.
There was no doubt. I never go into the competition with the mindset of a doubt. I always go into the competition ready to face the challenges ahead of me. So the jump, I'm going to tell you the inside, the inside. So I see them coming down. They're like, okay, the 200 is about to go. You can remove your spikes and go run your 200. So I'm like, okay. So I remove my spikes, change into my running spikes. And then he was like, but if you don't make it back in a minute, your jump is a scratch and you get third. So I put back on my jumping spikes because I'm like, I'm going to jump. So then I saw they were setting blocks. The starter was about to say on your mark. So I ran. Like I literally got my spikes and ran. And I was like, oh my gosh. So the man came and he was like, okay, we're going to let you jump and hold the race, or you can run the race and miss your jump. So I was like, I'm going to do my last jump. I have on my wrong shoes. I have on my running shoes, my track shoes.
Also, you jumped in your
track shoes, yes.
I had it the other way around. I thought you ran.
No. I jumped in my track shoes. And when I got on the runway, I was like, okay, like you can take your time, calm down. So my coach always told me to take deep breaths before I do my approach. So I did that. and I was like, make sure my heart rate was nice and steady, make sure it was nice, like not rushing so I can mess it up. So I just jumped. I don't know what happened, what I did right or wrong. I just jumped. And I didn't even look at the board. I ran straight to the 200 and got on your mark, set, go. And then after when I came out, my mom was like, you jumped 620. And I was like, oh my God, PR, like on my last jump. So that will always be a legendary moment in my life because it taught me patience. It taught me how to slow down and actually focus on what I want to do.
And it taught you determination as well. Yes, awesome. And when the conclusion of it all, you heard that this girl has got the top award for the entire games. Tell me about that moment and how it felt.
I actually didn't know about the award until like the second to last day. They was like, you're in line for the Austin Sealy. So I'm like, Austin Sealy. So I went on Google. I was like, oh, the overall, the MVP. So I was like, that's cool, but I didn't know about it. So that wasn't a goal in mind. My goal was to come down here, have fun, PR, show that, because I actually have more meets in Georgia. So Carifta was my benchmark before my other meets in Georgia. So I just came down to have fun, but going home with the most prestigious title for Carifta was amazing. I got a lot of congratulations, a lot of, oh my gosh, you're like my role model. So I felt like I didn't know what to do. I was like, thank you. But yeah, it was really a great experience, and I love that I came home with the most prestigious award. I'm really proud of myself, and I'm always going to keep working.
You said something very key. You said you went there with a mindset to have fun and to PR, to do public relations, to promote, and your personal best, your personal records. What that says for the British Virgin Islands, we're doing the PR in two ways: public relations, promoting, and your personal records. What does that mean for you in the space of the Virgin Islands?
Like promoting the Virgin Islands, that really, like putting us on the map. I wouldn't say I single-handedly did it, because there was more of my teammates, my colleagues who were at Carifta who like put us on the map too, like Saviana, Jakaila, Akila, our 4x4. We all did great. We all went with the mindset to come home and put ourselves on the map. So knowing that I was a part of that group really made me proud and made the country proud again.
Yeah, I'm interested to know the camaraderie that you guys share. I know you've been away for so long, and I know you know some of them even before you would have left the territory. What it meant to you being there, and how was that bond of friendship?
It was the same, and nothing changed that like when I left. They all came, we all showed each other the same love, like we were still together, like close-knit as we was when I lived in the Virgin Islands. So I was actually surprised by that. I was thinking like, they're not gonna talk to me, but like I went there and everybody was like, yeah, just, and like conversation just started. It was just, and we all was in the same cluster. Yes. So we were cluster 1, and we was like, yeah, cluster 1, we're coming home with all the medals, and we want all the medals. So yeah, cluster 1. I really appreciated them. Saviana set the tone by winning our first goal. She encouraged the hosts to go and do what they had to do their best, make themselves proud. There was no pressure on anybody. We just like went out there and had fun. We came home, celebrated with each other, and was like, okay, back to what we have to do.
Coming down to the wind of this, there is something that sports does and something that sports encourage generally, and that's discipline. Talk to me a little bit what that means for you as a mom working with your daughter. Fortunate for you, unlike many other parents, you were into sports even before you even thought of having a daughter, ever knowing that your child is going to be so great in sports. Tell us a little bit about that parent-child commitment.
In my household, I set the tone of discipline. Discipline takes you further in life. So all my children, they know, be respectable, have manners, because your first impression is your last impression. Coming from the Virgin Islands, my family is very disciplined. My dad is a disciplinarian. He does not stand for nonsense. So in terms of manners, your behavior, and it trickled down to my children, his grandchildren as well. He would not hesitate to pull you up. he's very strict on discipline. So it's something that has been embedded in my household, also my brother's household as well.
Okay, and for you, Adaejah, explain to us what it is your daily life looks like, your routine, waking up, going to bed, all your activities. Explain to us so we can have an appreciation for your commitment and the sacrifice that you have to put into being where you are.
I wake up at 6 a.m. every morning.
I thought I would have been here at like 4 o'clock.
No. Rest is key. Always rest. Rest is important. I wake up at 6 because my bus comes at like 7:20, so I give an hour to prepare myself for school. So I wake up, I shower, I pray. Always have my faith in God, always. I pray, I do my yoga, I stretch, because my body has to be prepared for the task that is about to do today. I make sure I eat a good breakfast, and then I catch the bus. I go to school and runs to the bus, because I'm always late, runs to the bus. So that's a good warm-up. But yeah, I just go to school. I have fun with my friends like a normal teenager. I don't get treated different at school, nothing. So yeah, I continue. Go to practice, make sure I keep my track mates, my teammates, all of us in line, make sure everybody's like, okay, we have to go into this. We have to make sure we're great so we can, because we all went into the mindset this year that we're going to win state. Okay. We won state. Yeah. Right. So I just made sure everybody stayed on task. Everybody did. If somebody felt discouraged, like, I don't want to do this, I was like, look at the long road. Like, this teaches you to be disciplined later in life. So that's practice. When I come home, I just want dinner.
What's for dinner?
I literally come home, what's for dinner? My mom's like, Adaejah, you just got in the house, say good afternoon or something. But yeah, I go home, I chill with my family. I probably get on the phone with my friends, but I chill with my family most of the time. We play games. I'm really close-knit with my family. I harass my sisters because I'm the second child. That's my job. Yeah, and then I go to sleep probably at 9:30ish, because rest is key, and then I just start the cycle all over again.
Oh, wow. Okay, so what are some of the things that you would love to see your colleagues here in the Virgin Islands get exposed to? I know we are here in the Virgin Islands, so we have to make do with what we have. You're out in the bigger world where things are more readily available. What are some of your dreams for athletes here in the Virgin Islands? And you can also wrap it up with your words of encouragement to them.
Actually, I would like to let them see more competition in track and field. Not even in track and field, but any other sport. I feel like this bubble, you're just competing against the same person, and it's like getting boring. So seeing them grow, because I grew when I left. It was hard for me, but I still grew competition-wise and learned how to handle pressure and all that. So seeing them grow, and I would love for them to witness Six Flags. Six Flags is nice, but yeah. But I just want them to stay humble, stay hardworking, listen to your coach, and stay disciplined.
Awesome. And Tanya, as a mother to other parents?
My words of encouragement is to never give up on your children. It's challenging, but don't break. For me, it was very, like I say, it was very challenging in the first couple of years of relocating. I first had to find myself in order to be the mom that I am. I'm not perfect. I'm not saying I'm perfect, but goes back to discipline. I had to discipline myself, put my children first. So for parents out there, not to say you will have a superstar, but believe in your children's dreams. Like my youngest daughter, she's an entrepreneur for everything. She does bracelets, she does nails, she cooks, and trust me, we buy the stuff for the bracelet that she traveled with. Then she puts those down. She want to bake cupcakes. Then she put those down. Then she want to do something else. But always keep.
She's experimental.
She's experimental. Yeah. She's not going to work for anyone but herself. But just have that focus, that love for your children. Appreciate your children, and as I would say, as African Americans, we don't normally tell our kids how much we love them. Just embed that in your house. I mean, every day, Adaejah, my oldest, my youngest, like, I love you, and I'm like, get away. But now, now I'm more appreciative of it because they see the hard work and commitment. So I'm very appreciative of it.
I just can't close it off without asking you to say what you want to say to to government, to BVI Athletics Association, in terms of how we invest in our athletes?
So, on that scale, with the government and the BVI Athletics Association and the BVI Olympic Association,
yes.
I would just say invest in these children. Do not wait until they reach to a certain level to try to gravitate to them. And once you invest in them at an early age, you will see the worth of these children. We need facilities. It's not all about funding, but we need facilities. Facilities does not always have to be about finance. You may network with someone. I know coaches that knows person that can probably say, hey, we can help you build the stands, or we can help you, with certain things, uniforms, even though we know we're sponsored by Puma. But it's always good to network. It's always good to be open to constructive criticism. It's always good to learn, to educate yourself. Just take these kids to the next level. Let's get away with doing about self and more of country. So that's my message to us here in the BVI.
All right, and there is so much more. We could go on and on and on, but we look forward to when you come again, Adaejah.
Yes.
We hope to see you soon. We hope that we'll be able to follow you in your journey. Continue to be that sweet spirit. She has such a humble, sweet spirit. I remember watching her out there the other day, and she didn't get the hair fix yet. And the photographer so wanted that super photograph. She said, like, oh, you're really going to take me with the camera? Continue to be humble. It will take you far.
Thank you.
Continue to be a great mom and to be a support to the others who may not know how to. I want to thank you so much for joining us for this edition of The Big Story. I'm Kathy Richards.